This is like my favorite session ever because it's just like a miscellaneous whatever we want to talk about, because there's so much in RQ4 that I think everyone needs to know about, and this is just the third time we're doing it, which is crazy to me that it's been 3 years and this is our third edition of it. So the first year, in 2010, I kind of tested the waters, and I just did this miscellaneous random, topics in the session, and people liked it. So then last year, I picked out all of my favorite things on the whole program, and we focused on all the things that I love so much about the program. But then it was like this year came around, and I was like, well, I already talked about all my favorite things, and we've already miscellaneoused it as much as it can miscellaneously be. So I could not think of a witty, clever, theme for this year. We just have to jump right into the presentation. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about past, so what exists in RQ4 that has always been there that a lot of people don't know about. What exists today that you could go home and leave with today and you could implement right away in your stores, and what's coming up in the future. So what are we going to come out with in the near future?
Stacy, hey, how are you?
Hi, Kris, this is Rude.
I know this is an important presentation. I do. I happen to be in the presentation.
No, I don't.
No?
Give it to me.
I should leave?
Because this is rude. So what we're going to do, if Kris knows so much, because he's in professional services, so for those that don't know Kris here, Kris is the one who goes out, comes to see your store, spends a few days with you, and gives you all the goodies that you need to know. So clearly Kris thinks he knows what he's talking about. And sometimes I think he does. So I have an idea.
What's that?
I think for this year's theme of You Don't Know What You Don't Know,
let's get ready to rumble!
I think me and Kris should battle to see if the new guy knows as much as old school. All right?
If he knows?
If he knows.
If he knows.
Well, we're going to let the crowd be the decider.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's do it. So our first battle.
That feature can do that.
What? I'll go first. So here's that feature can do that. So everyone uses the coupon module or knows about the coupon module, so it's typically a coupon module, right? You set up a coupon, you buy certain things, the customer gets the coupon, that's what a coupon is. So here's the problem that a lot of dealers have today. Everyone discounts. So we try to put things in place. We put floor prices, manager overrides, things like that. We don't put floor prices or manager overrides like a lot of people do. But there's so much discounting, and people always want to know, what can we do to control discounting? So what we could do is we could set up a coupon. In this case, I have a $10 coupon, and the only criteria on it is you have to sell a phone if you want to use that coupon. So what we could do is you could generate a bunch of serial numbers. We could upload them into this coupon. You distribute them to the store. Here's your 10, here's your 10, here's your 10. They're each worth $10. It's up to you and at your discretion. And when you run out of those 10 coupons, you're done for the week. So you just had a hard limit of $100 discounting per week, or whatever your threshold is. But this would let you control it, and there's no way you can get past because you don't have any more serial numbers. What's extra good about it is you can run a report. You can see which stores have used those discounts, who's eating them up really fast, who's really using them consistently and slowly throughout the week. So you can do a lot with the coupon module besides it being your average typical coupon. It can actually control discounting at the same time. Can you beat that?
That's it's going to be a little difficult. I do like that feature though, and I hope you guys in the back can hear me, by the way. So raise your hands if you can't, raise your hands if you can't. If you can, somebody let me know. So I think I've got one that is going to be a close second for that. How many of you today have a way to automatically have your employee discount set up in RQ4? So not a lot. One thing that I think is a huge advantage is to use the multi-level pricing for employee discounts. What am I talking about? Everyone has the opportunity to use multi-level pricing. All you need to do is go in, create yourself a new price group, call it employee discount. Maybe you give your employees 10% off. Maybe it's 15, maybe in a really lucky employee's case it's 20, maybe more. Set that up as, again, a multi-level price. Create your create your employees, set them up just like you would any new customer. Use the multi-level pricing field and go ahead and apply that 10%, 20% employee discount. What does that mean? That means every single time they're purchasing any product that applies to that discount, not only can it be automatic, it shows up on the invoice, it can also flow through to any of those discount reports that you're running. Employee discount would be flagged. Great way to monitor that, track that. I think that works well.
I do like that.
I think I win.
Well, you don't, but I really like the effort. It's good. Let's jump into the second battle. Got a little excited there. So the second battle we have is, what's the best old school feature that we can think of? Feature that's been there since the dawn of time, not everyone even knows exists. I'll be nice and I'll let you go first.
How nice of you, Stacy.
Thanks.
How about petty cash? How many people actually have a way to truly track your petty cash in RQ4? You all have money that's moving in and out every day, whether it's lunches, whether it's cleaning supplies, whether it's paying someone to, whatever they have to do for you guys every day. The idea is there's really an Excel spreadsheet. That's the way you've used petty cash. That's what a lot of our users, that if you didn't raise your hand, I'd be interested to see what you're doing. The petty cash module. It's hiding there in RQ4. It's for you, and it's for petty cash. So all those little transactions that you're running through cash out of the drawer every day, not only do you have a way to track that now, report on that, you can also link it to your GL. So the accountant's not going to call you up and yell that $20, $25 cash is missing every day. You know that's going to add up. Bottom line is, use petty cash for a really great way to track that expense every month.
Yep, no more Excel sheets. Everyone has that lovely petty cash Excel sheet that the stores fill in to say, oh, I took $5 out of the drawer for paper towel or whatever that is. Finance team gets it, they reconcile a Excel sheet, and then they take other Excel sheets and they look at the Excel sheets and they reconcile the Excel sheets, and that's all they do. And there's no tracking on that, not globally, so good one. Love the petty cash.
I would agree.
You know what else I love that's old is the ability to move history. So super huge misconception that you tender something in RQ4 and it's done. That's where it is. So today, what will happen, you tender a sale under the wrong employee and they call corporate and they say, oh, wrong sale under wrong customer. And what does corporate tell them to do? Refund it and then resell it under the right customer's profile. Well, that works, but it's a lot of steps and it's very messy. It looks bad in reports. It throws a lot of stuff off. It nets out to the right amount, but it's a lot of steps and a lot of work. But we actually have a move customer history. So you can take anything off a customer's profile, activities, sales orders, anything, and you can move it to a new customer's profile, and then that's all automatic. The other type of history that a lot of people don't know about is when an employee doesn't work with you anymore. So everyone has to be able to relate to the fact that employees are in and they're out. And we have a lot of employees who are short-term, and we still have customers that those employees sold to, and we still want to service those customers. We want to still call them back. Just because their original rep doesn't work for us anymore doesn't mean that they shouldn't get that call back and they shouldn't get that follow-up. So we actually have an employee transfer master list. So it needs to be built into the flows that as soon as an employee doesn't work with you anymore, that we're taking all of their outstanding items and we're assigning them to someone new. And if that new person that we're assigning them to eventually leaves, we just take all of their open items and we move it to someone new. So the point is, all of our customers are being taken care of all of the time. So, third one. New feature or best money maker feature. So I think this is going to be a good one because we all love money. So I think I'm going to go first. Collections module. So the collections module is in 4.8, so you guys will all have this. Before I go into the details, I'll just let you know that if you want to go into actually activating what I'm going to talk about, just go talk to your CSM, because they can tell you all of the things that are required on your part to actually have this turned on. Here's the collections module. We have this new printing area called Customer Secondary Agreement. So a secondary agreement, for those of you who aren't tracking one or doing one, is an agreement with you and the customer who's activating a phone, that in a scenario where they charge back and they do not return that phone to you, that they owe you either returning the phone, or maybe you have a $150 fee because they didn't pay you that back. So a lot of people today always want to do a secondary agreement. A lot of people actually have one and they have the customer physically sign it, but it's the follow-up on that today that's so difficult, because you actually have to collect that information. You've got to go maybe to a collection agency, do it in-house, but you're trying to collect that money from the customer. And I find a lot of people just don't see the value in that because they can't collect enough to make it worth the effort. So, I'm rambling. Here's what we're going to do. We have a secondary agreement field. Put your secondary agreement in here. At minimum, it prints on every invoice. You can say print for every phone, or print once per invoice. That's up to you, but it prints automatically now, and it prints on our Q4. Here's how the flow will work. Customer buys a phone. Employee sells the phone. Customer pays with integrated credit card. That's the caveat here. It has to be integrated credit card. So when customer's paying with an integrated credit card, it's going to pop up to the customer and say, here's the secondary agreement. Sign, yes, you accept, no, you don't accept. If I sign agreeing to these terms and conditions, it's going to print on the invoice because it's comments printing, signatures there, stored in our Q4. Here's where it gets really good. So, well, I guess chargeback's never really good, but here's where it could be really great, is what happens when that customer does eventually charge back and they don't bring the phone back. Today, you reconcile it, you charge back the commission, and that's kind of the end of it. So once we have this collection module in place, in our chargeback report, see this little hardware collection right click down here? We can take any items that you have deemed as a legitimate chargeback, say, go collect that money. So what it's going to do is it's going to pop up and say, all right, what SKU do you want us to sell? And you can have different SKUs for different collections. So maybe you have $250 collection agreement if the customer has an iPhone. Maybe it's $150 if it's just a feature phone. And that's completely up to you, but the flexibility, you pick and choose the SKUs and you charge. So anyways, we right click, go collect this money. I'm going to be collecting my $250 fee. The system actually goes through, and because of this collection module, because they paid with an integrated credit card, we actually stored that credit card number in a token. So we're going to go through and we're going to try to sell that $250 SKU to all of those credit cards that the customer has agreed and signed for, that's okay. Any ones where we can successfully create an invoice with that collection, we say, here's the invoices we successfully created, and then we have a report to say, here's all of the items you tried to collect on, here's the ones that were successful, and here are the ones that failed. So the ones that failed, now you can go back to your current flow or create a manual flow on how are we going to get that money if we can't collect it off of the credit card. And in a case, if we get a dispute on that credit card charge, we have right in our Q4 signed secondary agreement saying, yep, you agreed to these fees, here's your signature, we can reprint it, we can email it. So that's a lot better than not doing anything.
It's a nice moneymaker.
It is nice. I like it.
Just watch this though. This is not a new feature. This is not anything that's complicated to do, but it's a huge piece of missing money for you guys, and that's being able to link products for refunds. You've got the product link for normal sales, where you're linking up different SKUs that we can automatically make sure that that product gets attached during a sale. The refund link is exactly the same idea, except it's only for refunds. So how many of you have restocking fees or service charges or other things that have to be applied to refunds? Well, now why not use RQ4 to automatically link that product? So again, whether that's in this case, something like a restocking fee, even a minimal restocking fee if you're doing a lot of returns, whether you have 2 stores or 25 stores, how much money are you missing if that sales rep forgets to add that SKU? So consider linking it up. It's going to flow back through. We've returned this battery, and look, our $10 restocking fee automatically part of the invoice. No guesswork for the sales rep, no guesswork for the administration to try and correct the problem. It's a no-brainer. It's a lot better of a money maker, I would say, just my opinion.
I think those are both good money makers. I like them. Which way you like to view the information. Another great place is clocked hourly analysis report. So just kind of where I have the arrows pointed is where we've put that data into a grid. So now we have a report where we can see our sales and our gross profit per hour broken down by location or by employee, not necessarily a graph. So a lot of people always want to email that type of information out to the stores. And when it's a graph, you can't export it to Excel like you can every other report. So the other option is to copy the data to a clipboard, which means it takes that exact grid, and you can paste it into an Excel sheet. So you don't have to be restricted to not exporting to Excel just because it's a graph.
You know, Stacy, the reason why I actually built that list and showed up to this session and crashed it today is for the right click. Right clicks to me are like little Christmas presents. They're just right there. You don't know that they're there. And you open up RQ4 one day and you accidentally stumble onto the key and look what you found. Case in point, how many of you use the min-max price adjustment report?
Everybody.
Hopefully everybody. But how many of you are working through min-max values? You're working to try and find out that perfect balance based on SKU, based on vendor, based on product. But you really just need to have that extra monitor, that pop-out screen to see sales history. You've got 40 other monitors up, you've got your other sheet. All you have to do is right-click on that product and you get a sales history. That sales history is going to break down last 30 days, last 7 days. It's even going to give you the same period of the last year and the sales to date. So it's a great shortcut as a manager if you're the one who's tasked with doing this. Save yourself the frustration and the broken keyboards. Right-click on sales history.
It almost hurts my feelings because I've always prided myself in knowing every single button in RQ4 and exactly what every single button does and why it's there and why we did it that way. But I literally had no idea that you could right-click in the min-max and show the sales history for that product. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Winner.
I'm going to give you that one. That's a winner. So, has anyone ever heard me talk about how much I love employee commissions? So, I love employee commissions, so it's only natural that our next battle is going to be, what is the best employee commission helper that we can have in RQ4? But because I want to close really strong on that one, I'm going to let Kris go first. You're welcome.
All right, commission helper. How many of you have seen and or used the commission ledger entry report? It's a great tool. It's great for bonuses. It's great for penalties if you're allowed to do that. It's a really cool, quick tool. It's in the finance module. It should be turned on for you. It is permission-based. You'll want to double check that. Why is it such a great commission helper? Because what it actually will do, if you've noticed, you've got a little Excel export button. Before you touch anything in this module, you can export the grid into an Excel sheet that would look just like this. It's already got all of the labels that you need, your employees, your date, the description, the commission amount, any comments that you wanted to add. Once you've saved this Excel sheet, it's really just as simple as using the import button on that same commission ledger entry module. Some people ask me, what does that import button do? Well, what it does, it brings that Excel sheet back in. So whether it's 5 commission adjustments you need to make or 50, you've got that all now with just one import. So save yourself the manual entry, use that import-export, and I'm confident that's the biggest commission helper on the planet.
Well, that's a huge one, and what I do like about this is that how many times have you either A, forgot to put commission on a product, or B, had the wrong commission on a product and it calculated everything wrong, or it calculated nothing at all. So what everyone ends up doing, they just figure it out in Excel and they make those adjustments in the payroll at the end of the month, and then for the rest of the month we lose that real-time visibility to the employee because that product either isn't included or it's calculated wrong, so the commission is wrong. So this is a great tool for if you ever make any commission mistake and we need to have it reflect in our Q4, just fix it in Excel and bring it in.
Absolutely.
Awesome. That's good.
That means I win?
Oh, no. Here's why. So here's the best employee commission helper, and it's our milestones piece. I know milestones are, we talk about them a lot, and just, I mean, their base functionality of keeping employees engaged and in the loop, where are you at, what's your target, is phenomenal. But there's a lot of people who have a comp structure that's tier-based. Anyone here have a tier-based commission structure? Lots. So the tier-based commission structure is usually a retroactive thing. You hit this tier and now you want it to recalculate back either dollar or percentage, but RQ4 does not do that today. So if you don't have RQ4 tracking the commission, then you're losing out on, you know, the visibility that the stores have into where they're at for their commission level. So the milestones is so helpful for the tiers because either A, it can automatically give the employee a tier bonus. So if you can figure it out, you get to selling $1,000 in accessory GP, we're going to give you a $100 bonus. It just automatically gives them the $100. You get to $2,000, gives you $200, or whatever your setup is. If that is not the type of comp structure you have, we should still use the employee milestones, because what we could have it do is if I'm an employee and I tender a sale, and that sale puts me at my GP level or my quantity level to make me get a new tier, even though that tier is not calculating, you may as well tell me in a great, fun, interactive way. So this is saying, hey, congratulations, with that sale, you've just earned, you know, your level 2, your second tier or your third tier. So it's a really great tool. You still take advantage of it, and employees still have that better view in RQ4 versus having nothing in there at all. So I think that's the
push.
winner.
It's push.
Yeah, those are both goods.
Push.
I love telling stories. So I'm going to go first on this one. I have a customer service story to tell you guys. Before I even go to the story, let's keep in the back of our minds that employees who are engaged and recognized, they love your products better, they're happier, they're creative, and they're more proud to work for you. So we always want to make sure that all of our employees are recognized for anything that they, you know, go above and beyond. How many people here have been to a Starbucks before? Hopefully everybody. I go to Starbucks 4 times a week minimum, and I can't tell you how often I get that receipt where you fill it in, you go online, you give them feedback, and then they give you a free drink. And I always fill it in because I want the free drink, and it doesn't matter if my feedback is good or bad. They want my feedback and they incent me for it. This is my mom. This is my story about my mom, Jody. She sent me this email one day, and I'm going to read it to you for those of you who can't see. This is literally her exact real email. Stacy, my BlackBerry is totally broken, and I just know I will need a new one. It is going to cost me a fortune because I've only had this one 1 year in August. I am depressed, I am freaking, and I really wish I did buy that extra insurance after all. I have way too much crap in that phone. I am most worried about all my passwords. I am screwed. Mom. So she sends me that email, and my suggestion to her is go back to where you bought it. They'll, you know, try to help you out. They'll maybe give you a loaner phone or whatever they're going to do, but go back to where you bought it. So she goes back to where she bought it. In her mind, she's already made up the decision she's going to have to replace the BlackBerry at full retail, and she thinks it's $485. I don't know where she got that number, but she's always like, it's going to cost me $485. So she goes into the store expecting to pay $485. The girl there helps her out, fixes the phone, perfect condition. My mom's thrilled, tries to tip her $60 cash. So the girl's like, I can't take money, I can't take your tip. And my mom's like, no, take it. And the girl just won't. So my mom says, well, I'm going to email your company and tell them how happy I am because you, in her mind, she just saved $425 or $485. So she's thrilled. So she sends this email, which I'm not going to read you the whole thing because she talks like me and she rants. So I'm just going to read you little clippets of it. And I've masked all the names in here. Prior to going to Successful Cellular, I was at Wacky Wireless. Their suggestion was to replace the phone. I do not qualify for an upgrade at this time, so I would have had to pay full price. I was seriously considering it. I have always bought my cell phones from Successful Cellular. Before Emily had come to my aid, I noticed the price for the same phone I looked at Successful Cellular was actually less money at Wacky Wireless, and I was thinking that perhaps because of the high cost of a full replacement, I might have to consider going back there to purchase another BlackBerry. I will never have that thought again. I will remain loyal to Successful Cellular when I qualify for my next upgrade. The service Emily provided was exceptional, but this really impressed me so much I had to write. I look forward to my continued relationship with Successful Cellular. I will see you when I get my next upgrade. So a few days went by and no one ever emailed her back acknowledging her email. And all my mom wanted was someone to say, thanks. We really appreciate that you let us know that you had such a great experience. We passed your feedback onto that rep that just changed your life and saved you all this money. So she was a little ticked that she didn't get an email. Then she's at the airport and she pays $14 or $15 for that 1 hour internet pass. It's so expensive. And of course, it wouldn't connect. So she sends, what does my mom do? She sends them an email. So she sends them an email, internet wouldn't connect, I paid you $15. And immediately they write her back and they say, thank you for your feedback. We're so sorry you had a bad experience. Unfortunately, we literally don't give refunds. So next time you need internet, give us a call and we'll give you a free promo code. She was freaking thrilled she got this email. She lost $15. She didn't care, loves this company, just still talks about how great Boingo is, even though she paid $15 to them for nothing. But they said, hey, thanks for your feedback. That was so great and so nice of you. So my point is that with customers, it's so important that we are appreciating them and saying thank you. So why don't we in RQ4 have something set up, canned, ready to go? Maybe we change a little wording to be a little bit more personal to that customer. Hey, thanks for your feedback. Here's a serialized coupon for a free accessory so that doesn't get abused. Or maybe if someone complains, we could do the exact same thing so that, they feel that they're a valued customer, just like my mom felt when she got that email from Boingo. So we have an email module. It can be used in one-off scenarios, and we need to keep our customers happy. And the reason we need to keep our customers happy is happy customers and repeat customers, they spend more and they talk about you to other people. Unhappy customers will tell someone else, word of mouth, way faster than a happy customer. So we need to keep our customers happy, and that's sometimes as simple as saying thank you for your feedback. Can you beat that?
That's going to be a character.
She is.
I wish she could be here.
Next year.
I'm sure actually that these guys can probably relate to that story.
I hope so.
Well, speaking of characters, I'm going to tell you a quick personal story and I'm going to leave Stacy alone. But my story begins with my wonderful girlfriend, who I set you back to January of, let's just say this year. And she has finally been convinced by myself to move to the wonderful city of Charlotte, North Carolina from Canada. We planned the move perfectly. We scripted out all the moves with the UPS and with the Postal Service and with the U-Haul. Had it all figured out and everything went perfect. The one thing we forgot about through all of this was the fact that she was going to need a new calling plan, a new device, new accessories. She couldn't use her Canadian carrier anymore. We had to get her hooked up with, we'll keep that nameless. Moral of the story is, it was late. It was a Saturday. She really needed this phone right away. We had to get her on a business trip on Monday morning. Saturday, 4 o'clock, we hop into the car. We're headed to the mall to my favorite store. I've been to this with this company, and I go to this location for the last at least 8 years. I love their customer service reps. I love their products. They always are there for me, whether it's on the phone, email, in person. I love the company. Get in the car, hustle over. It's probably 25 minutes from my house. Get to the store, pull up in the, get to the storefront. Hustle up to the window. What do we see? We saw this. We've moved. Here's our new address. Here's our new business hours. It's 4:30 now. Their new business hours, they close at like 5:30. So we've got a serious problem. The problem is she needs a phone. She needs it today, and we can't wait until Monday to go back to this store. So what do we have to do? We hop back in the car. We go to the corporate office, the corporate store. She activates her device through the corporate store. She hooks up on 3-4 accessories, everything she needs. She's happy she got her device. She didn't get the service she probably would have gotten from my guy. I promised her we'd go back in 2 years when she's finally ready for that upgrade. What does this mean for you? Well, you don't want this to be your store that this happens to. Did you know, and are you aware, in RQ4, you have a way through the RQ4 marketing module to set up marketing campaigns based on either zip code, postal code, or area code to target specific customers in the event you're going to either A, move your location, as this company did, or maybe you're going to open up a new store. It makes sense to market to that region, to that district. Let them know that this store is coming. Send them an email. Send them a direct mail piece that looks a lot like this. Either we've relocated, we're opening a new store, here's our new hours, here is our new address. Maybe also throw in a coupon, 10% off an accessory, 10% off any phone. Everything I could have used is right there. We could have saved time, we could have saved money, she would have been a lot happier with me, and life in general would have just been better. Moral of the story, use the RQ4 marketing module. Think outside the box with a tool like this, and hopefully it will work well for you.
Awesome. I think it's safe to say that I think Kris knows what he's talking about. I won't bug him anymore.
Stacy, I appreciate your battle today. I'm going to take my list and walk my winner self off the stage now.
Thank you, Kris.
Pleasure.
So let's talk about new stuff. So what are you guys going to get shortly that's new and exciting? I'm going to start off small. So inventory console. We now have count sheets as their main section in the inventory console. So it's small, but it's fast, and it's a lot easier to get to your new count sheets, to get to your updating count sheets. So just this one icon will save just so many clicks, and it's much more intuitive for any new people who would need to know how to do a count sheet. So now when you go into inventory, there's a big, huge button there for them to do a count sheet. This is maybe one of my most favorite new features. It's a multi-category picker. So picture this. You're running a report like everyone does. You want to know how many new activations and upgrades have you sold today, but you don't want to include prepaids and you don't want to include outright phone sales. So today what people do is they run their new activations category, and then they run their upgrades category, and then they do the math. So now we can actually take the two categories and run the report at once, and that is awesome. What else is this is going to be really good for is you want to do your inventory counts. What if you want to count your phones and a random accessory category every day? You choose your phones, you choose that random accessory category, and now there's your count sheet. Think about your min-maxes. You want to order your SIMs with your phones, they're in separate categories. You do those twice, you do them separate. So anytime you need to combine two reports, two categories, it can be a report, it can be inventory, and you can run those together. And this is not a limit of two. You can choose as many multiple categories as you would need. Here's another This one's my favorite, actually, on the new stuff. A new option on our product setup called a sales message. So I have to say, this may be one of the oldest suggestions from when I very first started, is people would say, can't you make RQ4 just put a pop-up on the screen whenever someone sells this product? And finally, we have a big, wonderful setup tool where you can do this in bulk. We can say, this entire category, make this message pop up when you sell it, and make this message pop up on that same product or category when you refund it. So we can actually do 2 different pop-ups depending on what you're doing. They can be time specific. So imagine you want to notify your stores that that product's going to be on sale, or the sale ends tomorrow. We can have that pop up, and we can have them turn on and turn off. So it would look something like this. I'm going to sell this phone, and it's going to pop up and tell me, hey, don't forget, when you buy a phone, if you buy 2 accessories, you're going to get 10% off, or this extra discount. So imagine being a new employee and having that message there for you so that you don't have to remember or know. And because it can be product or category specific, you can get really unique. You can also do it on refunds, like I said. So this has always, I think, been the example when people suggested it to us, is when my employees do phone refunds, they're not bringing back the charger. And if I don't have the charger, then I run into issues with getting credit back from the vendor and all of the things that go with that. So we need to remind the employee to get that from the customer. Here's how you do it. So that's not the only new inventory attribute that we have. We actually have a new refund to used attribute. So this setting, this is a good one. So this suggestion was actually, I think, one of the top suggestions on our support and community site for a long time. And the reason it was today, if you refund a phone and that phone can be resold to the customer, but we want to sell it at a lower price, you've got a lot of workaround to get there today. You've got to write off the new SKU, you've got to write in the old SKU or the used SKU, you've got to put it in the PAW, you've got to give it a unique price, and so on and so forth, but it's a lot of work today. So this new checkbox, what it will do is we refund a phone, and now we have the option to just say, this is used, and we can default it, but this is a used serial number that I'm bringing in here. What's cool about that is that the phone activation wizard actually will take that one single SKU, so we have our one, let's say, Samsung SKU, and certain serial numbers are new, they have one price. These handful of serial numbers that are used, they have a unique price. And so you do actually have the ability to have unique pricing for new and used on the same single SKU. So I think that is really good. I think that's going to cut down a lot of the manual work that you are all going through today in order to get that unique price out to the customers. Today, you take one of our existing canned reports, you custom highlight it, you take away the columns, you group it, you do everything that you need to do, and then you save it as a custom report so that next time you don't have to do all that cleanup. So because of that, or what's annoying about that, I guess, is that's for you and you being logged in. So now you create that custom report once and you can share it out to whoever in your company you want. So imagine all your managers, when you create this super specific report that's specific to you in one scenario, and then you push it out to all of your managers, and when they log in, they just have all these custom reports in front of them that you've created and pushed out. Next thing, coupons are back in the reports. So coupons today, you think about a $10 coupon on an invoice, but when you run the sales by invoice report, for example, that coupon is not included in there. So if you're looking for your true gross profit, you need to take that report plus your coupon report, you need to add them to get that. So we've added them into the reports. They're completely separate columns, so depending on how your company wants to view that information, you can break it down, you can keep it separate, whatever you want, but the columns are there now so that you don't have to manually do that. Last thing I want to talk about really quickly is what Eric alluded to this morning in the state of the wireless industry is our new AppleCare integration. So I'm actually going to ask Paul from Apple to come up and give us a quick rundown.
Can everyone hear me? So many of you who sell iPhone, you know that an Apple customer is a very unique customer. They're very brand loyal, right? They expect certain things and of the relationship that they have not only with you, as well as the carrier, as well as Apple. We're going to talk about a product here just in the next minute called AppleCare Plus, which will help with that relationship. AppleCare Plus for iPhone takes that standard 1-year warranty that comes with every iPhone and 90 days of complimentary tech support and extends it out to 2 full years. 2 full years, of course, is a commitment that that customer makes to a carrier to receive a subsidized device. That 2 years of protection provides them comprehensive hardware protection, including battery depletion coverage, as well as accidental damage from handling. ADH is a nice way to say cracks, water immersion, liquid immersion, etc. Additionally, AppleCare provides award-winning phenomenal technical support available via 1-800-MY-iPhone, 365 days a year, 12 hours a day via North American call centers. Additionally, customers can go online and schedule a time for Apple to call them at a time that's convenient for them, as well as a customized support solution. As well, they can go to an Apple retail store if they seek assistance. AppleCare Plus basically takes, again, that hardware, that technical support, wraps it up into a one-time fee of $99. Via the relationship now we have with iQ, it is going to be native in RQ4. If you'd like to find out more about AppleCare Plus, my colleague and I are out in the experts area, the salon we're going to call it, next door. And I'm going to turn it back over to Stacy to tell us more via the screenshots.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So really quickly here, let me run you through how the new AppleCare integration is going to work. It's very similar to other integrations that we have in place today. You go through the phone activation wizard. It's going to prompt you, does the customer want AppleCare? If I say yes, I can click on it. We can proceed. It's going to allow us to associate that to a SKU and a serial number. Adds it to the invoice automatically, charges the customer. Obviously, costs and margin are built into RQ4. Setup is extremely, extremely easy. It's very similar to other integrations that you have. You've got to enable it per location, and then you have to map the Apple SKUs within RQ to the Apple setup screen, and that's it. It's really that simple. And of course, we've got supporting reports that will let you know exactly how many AppleCare plans have been sold, what serial number they associated to them, what store, what rep, very similar to all of the reports that we have existing in RQ4 today. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about today is a brand new invoice editor, and I'm telling you, it is a life changer. The problem is, I can't actually talk about it right now. And I have to ask all of you to go to the product announcements tomorrow, where my colleague Ken and Kris that we see here will be talking all about it, because it's that amazing that I couldn't not talk about it in my presentation, but I couldn't go into any details, so they'll be able to give you guys details tomorrow. And I know we're basically out of time, but Steve, did we get any questions?
Alrighty, well, thanks very much, Stacy. Kris, did have a couple questions on from the Twitter feed, and one of them here is, Stacy, are all of the new features available in version 4.9?
That's a good question. What I just showed was a combination of 4.9 and 4.10. So if you go to the CSMs, they actually have a list of which of these features will be in which version. They're both in similar time frames, so it's not like one is much further out than the other. Okay, well, I think we're out of time, but thank you guys so much.